You can do it ahead of time because they see my stuff. Oh, there we are.
Well, hello, this is George.
And Monty.
And this is Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, or if we call it Adonai, it's Adonai in Hebrew means the Lord, and we say the Lord God. So Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh is what we like to call God the Father. And you found out why in the last 2 weeks. But, doing a lot of thinking the last couple of weeks after we tried to get people to understand truth. And I would venture to say that anybody who watches this and still wants to go to their church, I don't see how you can go to a church knowing what we've been bringing out in the last 7 years. That's up to you.
Totally.
But it seems kind of hypocritical to go and listen to the J word or listen to a bunch of people who talk and don't bring out the truth like they should be. And some of them even know about it, but we'll get into that.
That'll be a whole other conversation.
Here's what really came about in the last week or so, 2 weeks. George and I and my sweetie have talked about it. I want you to listen. The saddest truth to society is that nobody wants the truth, or very few want the truth, about Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, that's God the Father, or His Son Yeshua. Now we came along, and coming to the knowledge of Yeshua was, well, you might say, our beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding what and how society belittled Yeshua's actual name was our turning point for truth.
Maybe if you go to try and change hearts and minds. Oh, it's talking about going to church.
Our turning point for truth. Walking with Yeshua to and down that hard road was really educational, which eventually showed us and this program His truth.
Mm-hmm.
Now coming to the knowledge of Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh is our ultimate understanding of the Father. Don't you think?
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get society to at least see the destruction they have caused by following a mere man is so very eye-opening to us. The following of Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, we now understand the destruction when society walks with the man-made-up religion. Don't you say, George?
Yeah.
We understand now that religion is to make you happy.
Mm-hmm.
Because, oh, I like what he said, or he makes me feel so good, or if you raise your hand, you run down the front, they pray for you, and you're going to heaven. Well, you know what we feel about that. All right. That religion is to make you happy, feel better about your walk with their made-up faith.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yep.
Their made-up Messiah, their church and denomination, while hiding the fact that they are leading you to their destruction because they hide the truth in so many areas.
Right.
Hmm.
Hide it away.
When we brought out the simple truth about Yeshua, congregations and individuals tried their darndest to ignore us.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though a lot of their priests knew that was true, they still refused to follow Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, leading them to the truth about His Son. Now, to me, this is kind of shameful that I have to bring out this sadness. If you think if you think we are pointing our fingers at you and your religion, hold on to your chair. You're probably right. We only want the truth, not any man-made up religion.
Right.
We do not look highly at a leader of any religion who are voted in by man, pretending that he is now divine. The ultimate goal that we have had the privilege to understand is when truth is brought to our attention, we do not back away from that truth because society doesn't want to understand it.
That's an excellent word.
What?
Privilege.
Oh. That is and should be every priest, teacher, church, denomination, and religion's only goal. What'd you say?
Hey,
Our first truth, like we said, was Yeshua. But our ultimate truth and our ending goal is the truth which Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh has brought to us. See, without him, that hard road, the small gate are really meaningless.
right.
Oh, you must have the hard road, and if you get in that small gate, then you have that chance to maybe to knock on Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh's door.
Mm-hmm.
But the scary and the real question is asked. If you don't know him, will he open his door to any imitational follower?
No.
That's an interesting statement. Boy, we lost one. Poof, right there. The importance is beyond measure. The truth is beyond measure. Our ultimate goal is beyond measure. Our goal is Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh. And yes, he is beyond our wildest dream.
Mm,
Do you dream that large? Or do you follow a mere man pretending to be divine? Yes, the saddest truth to society is that nobody wants the truth about Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh or his son Yeshua. Now, Tom had made a couple of comments along the way, and I found out that I better get my point across, because every once in a while when Tom brings a comment, it's eye-opening enough where it changes my train of thought. So if you go and try and change hearts and minds. I'm assuming he's talking about they go into a church, but that means that they're going to have to go in there with an idea that.
And he said, "Yeah, it's an optimistic view. I know." So he said,
but it's
a short-term gain for an eternal loss.
Well, that's a really
wow. I didn't read that one before.
That's a good point, Tom.
There you go, Tom.
Okay, we're in chapter 11 of 1 Samuel. My sweetie's going to read. It's a short one. My sweetie's going to read 1 to 3.
Here we go with the words again.
The Ammonites.
Then Nachash the Amorite came up and set up camp to fight Yabesh Gilead. All the men of Yabesh said to Nachash, "If you will make a treaty with us, we will be your subjects." Nachash said to the Amorite, Nachash the Amorite replied, "I'll do it on this condition, that all your right eyes be gouged out, and thus bring disgrace to all Israel." You said 1 through 3, right? Mm-hmm. The leaders of Yabesh answered, "Give us 7 days grace to send messengers throughout Israel's territory. Then, if no one will rescue us, we will surrender to you."
The Ammonite, one of their leaders, Nachash, went to take over Yabesh Gilead. See, now, if you think about this, it seems the Hebrews were not an organized fighting group of people anymore. Yes, they had victories, but it seemed by 1 Samuel 11 they were comfortable working the land Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh had given them. So when the Ammonites wanted their area and to humiliate their nation, the people didn't have a clue what to do. The men of Yavesh asked, "If we make a treaty with you and be under your control, will that be enough?" Now, that question didn't make sense to me. Because it Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh's land that he gave to him. Anyway.
Yeah.
Feeling and knowing that those Hebrews were not a well-organized nation for fighting any longer, they said, "So we know you are and will be our subjects. We must have your right eye." When you look at that. That way your nation will be disgraced. I like how he puts this. Okay, but give us 7 days to find out what the rest of the nation thinks about that idea. Saul was told he was going to be king, yet he didn't really know how to act like their ruler. Or he didn't have an idea what would come of it. Really, if you really think about Saul, he's a guy who's a farmer, kid of a farmer, and all of a sudden he's made the ruler, the king, and you have to remember, it's the first time they've ever had a king.
And all this happened while he was looking for donkeys.
What?
And all this happened while he was looking
Yeah.
for donkeys.
So, George, next week is going to go out looking for donkeys.
Oh, oh.
All right, sweetie, read 4 and 5, please.
The messengers came to Gibeah where Saul lived and said these words in the hearing of the people. And all the people cried out and wept. As this was going on, Saul came, following the oxen out of the field. Saul asked, "What's wrong with the people to make them cry like that?" They told him what the men of Yavesh had said.
They came to Saul's hometown and told him the conditions. Saul, their new king, was in the field behind a pair of oxen. I like how he put it, doing his job. He asked, "What happened to make you people all cry?" Read 6, please.
The Spirit of God fell on Saul when he heard this, blazing furiously with anger.
God gave Saul the power to act like their Hebrew leader, their king. In anger, he started his reign. That's how he started his reign. If you really think about it, wasn't it smooth? He started his reign by going to war, you might say. Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh. Though Saul said by using the nation of Israel was going to show this group of invaders how strong they were. Read 7, please.
He seized a pair of oxen and cut them into pieces. Then he sent them throughout the territory of Israel with messengers saying, "Anyone who doesn't come and follow Saul and Samuel, this is what will be done to his oxen." The fear of
Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh.
fell on the people, and they came out with united hearts.
Saul was using psychology, I know, with his nation. Anyone who doesn't help Saul, and did you notice he also included Samuel, the prophet, the judge? Even threw his name in there in case some people wanted to follow him. In his order for this nation or lose your oxen. Think about it. If you didn't help, you would lose your way of working in your field. Your livelihood. In that way, the Hebrews became united, you might say. They met in Beshek, which is about 4 or 5 miles to the west of Yavesh Gilead. The numbers were staggering. Read 8, please.
He reviewed them in Bezek, where there were 300,000 from the people of Israel. The men of Judah numbered 30,000.
300 from Israel. And it says 30,000 from Judah. Then the strategy begins. Read 9, please.
To the messengers that had come, they said, "Tell the men of Yabesh-Gilead, tomorrow, by the time the sun is hot, you will have been rescued." The messengers returned and told the men of Yabesh. They were overjoyed.
Go tell the people of the Yabesh-Gilead, we will be there by midday. Read 10, please.
The men of Yabesh said to Nekesh, "Tomorrow we will surrender to you, and you can do with us whatever you like."
Now the trickery
Sorry.
begins. Sir, tomorrow will be your servants. When we surrender, do whatever you want. Just let us live. That'd be kind of actors, too.
Too little.
Read it 11, please.
The next day, Saul divided the people into 3 companies. Then they entered the camp of the Amorites, right? Ammonites. During the morning watch and kept attacking until the heat of the day, until those who remained were scattered, so no 2 of them were left together.
300,000 soldiers ready to defend their people. Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh. His chosen people attacked the Ammonites. Saul took charge, dividing them into 3 groups, attacking early in the morning, fighting until their enemies were so scattered it stakes, so that not 2 of their enemies were fighting together. They were all running and separated. Now comes the statement that society would be following in this day and age. Read 12, please.
The people said to Samuel, "Who are the men who said, 'Is Saul to rule over us?' Hand them over to us so we can put them to death."
They went to their judge and prophet, Samuel, and made it clear they backed Saul as their leader, their king. Bring those who oppose Saul as our king. They deserve to die. Then the newly appointed king steps in and says, read 13, please.
But Saul said, "No one will be put to death today, because Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh," that was it, "has rescued Israel." Oh, sorry, that was it.
Nobody else is going to die today. Saul steps in and says that. For it was Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh who rescued his people. Interesting.
Absolutely.
My sweetie's going to read 14.
Then Samuel said to the people, "Come, let's go to Gilgal and inaugurate the kingship there."
What he actually said was, let's make it official.
Let's make it official.
Samuel said, let's go to Gilgal and have an inauguration of Saul as our king. And that is what they did. Now here is a new understanding about the Hebrews. Read 15, please.
So all the people went to Gilgal, and there in Gilgal, before Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, they made Saul king. They presented sacrifices as peace offering before Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh there, and there Saul and all the people of Israel celebrated with great joy.
Now I want you to concentrate on how it's put in there. Now, here is a new understanding about the Hebrews. I read that. In Gilgal, and before Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, God, the Father, they made Saul king. Now, remembering what Leviticus 3 states about the sacrifices of the peace offering before Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, they thought that by replacing Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh with a mere man, it would be better for God's chosen people, Israel.
Oh.
chapter 11 ends with Saul and the Israelites celebrating by bringing in a mere man to be their king, and you might say, escorting Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh out of that position.
Yeah, because they're the ones that wanted the king.
That really what they wanted, and that's what they did. The Hebrews' highs come when they, with Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, their lows come when they turn their backs to him, didn't they? Now I want you to think about this last sentence. Just like today, and since society turned to a mere man's religion. That's really a sad statement. Remember when I said the saddest truth to society is, back then, when they made Saul king, they didn't want Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh as their king. They wanted a man as king, like all the other nations.
Yep.
So what they did when they did that, when they inaugurated Saul and Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh let him be appointed, and they picked him, they actually escorted Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh out of that position. That's a sad point.
Wow.
Now, this morning, or yesterday morning, one of those mornings, I sat down and I wrote a couple things out. Remember back in day one, Genesis, day one was the light. First thing he created was a light. And it wasn't the sun. That came about like in day 4, right, Jordan? That had to be the Shekinah glory, the Shekinah light from Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh himself. Day 6, he created humankind. He created the male and female. He created them. Both of those started in Bereshit, or Genesis 1.
Yep.
Before Genesis 2.
Amen.
It's been Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, or some man made up religion, all the way through history. See, that's why, George and I was talking about this last week. That's why the Hebrews were up here when they were following Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh. And when they started going towards man, or the way the society followed their own gods, they were down here. And then some leader would come along and find Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh and do what he was supposed to do. Then Hebrews would get back up. Now, let me say this one last thing. We're going on vacation tomorrow, so hopefully we'll be able to see you, or you'll be able to get us. All the way, I read this before, all the way through history. In the Tanakh, the Old Testament, we see where they, with Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, or went with Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, or away from him, since then, and right now in the New Testament, you might say, we are in the period when we are away from him, making up religion to disgrace yourself and prevent yourself from finding Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh. We're doing the same thing until somebody comes along and can get people to understand, and it might just be 10, 20, 50, 80 people,
That's right.
1,000 people, 1,000,000 people. But somebody has to come along and it has enough pull to get people to understand Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh. But think about it. If you're the only one in your state that celebrates Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, you could be the only one knocking on his door.
Truth.
And if you go to those other churches where you might say the Antichrist lives, Because if you have a priest who isn't telling the truth, you might as well call, he's not telling the truth about Yeshua. So how can he be with Yeshua if he's not preaching him? Anybody who doesn't preach or teach him, or know Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, and even the Hebrews now try to belittle Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh. Oh, we don't know what his real name was. We don't know how you pronounced it. Well, when we looked at it, we pronounced it one way, and guess what? We believe Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh has showed us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want no credit. I don't want nobody sending me. Well, if you want to send me money, that's okay. But, that's a
Just
joke.
kidding.
But think about it. At least there's somebody trying to get you and society to study more to find truth. And that's why. And that's why. And you're right. It's about time.
No, it's throughout time. That's the way it was. Like you just made the comment. Somebody would be sent to, so to speak, put them back on the right path.
And the society.
And they go up, and then.
And it's the saddest truth to society is that nobody wants the truth about Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh or his son Yeshua. That's how we started. That's how we'll end it. But think about it. How sad that really is. Not only just for society, but for you, if you listen, if you don't listen. If you listen and don't do what you should be doing, are you any benefit to yourself at all?
Nope.
Tom just said something. We were getting ready to end, and Tom said something. Oh, Ann Brown says greetings. Tom says they can send money. It won't help their eternity,
But they
can send
it.
money.
Yeah, take all the money and
Can't buy their way in, is that what you're saying?
Well, interesting part is that
Is that what he's saying?
nobody
You can't buy your
here,
way?
nobody on that are very few people that ever listen to anything we say on here knows my address anyway. So I don't know how we'd be on here for the money if we've never put it out that you can send money, or we just like them to buy the book because the book starts the point. That's what we said in the beginning.
Oh, well, we'll
Instead
understand
of your
it.
eternity beyond, your eternity depends on it. It's the starting point. And then I have one guy that sent me a real interesting 5 or 7 comments about that book. And it's really eye-opening what he said. And what it really explains and what it really tries to get people to do. I know I'm talking too much, but okay. You have a great week. I hope you watch this. Hope you understand that it's your fault, not ours. If you don't want it, you don't like it, I don't really care. Because I'm not doing anything for you. I'm doing it for Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh. Right?
Absolutely.
You have a great week. We'll see you somewhere. We'll be someplace next Tuesday. Hope we can get contacted with you. If we can't, I'll call George and he's going to have to do something. Have a great week. Thank you for talking back to us. And
Yes, we love the
sending-
comments.
Yes.
And even if we're off, anytime you want to comment,
Yeah.
check it every day. So
She does. I don't know how to do it. I'm not a computer person. Of course, Tom knows that. Anyway, love you all. Have a good day. Have a good week. Bye.